When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
Welcome to the Susan Lopresti Wellness Mind, Body, and Soul podcast. This is the go-to space for midlife and mature women who are ready to reclaim their health, boost their energy, and live long, vibrant, and purposeful lives. Each week, we dive deep into natural wellness, holistic healing, anti-aging strategies, and healthy lifestyle habits to help you feel your best physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Whether you're navigating menopause, working through chronic conditions, or simply wanting to age gracefully and intentionally, this show is your sanctuary for science-backed insights, powerful stories, and soul-nourishing inspiration. So if you're a woman over 40 or 50 or older looking to thrive in the next chapter of your life, you're in the right place. Today's guest is someone who is about to completely transform the way you think about skincare. Thomas Smith isn't just another voice in the beauty industry. He's one of the rare insiders who has shaped it from the ground up. With more than 3 decades of hands-on experience, Thomas has seen every angle of the beauty world. He managed the luxury cosmetics floor at Saks Fifth Avenue. He helped launch the first Sephora stores in the United States and led global skincare strategies for legendary brands under LVMH, Unilever, and Director. His portfolio reads like a who's who of beauty icons. Thomas has developed products for Cindy Crawford's Meaningful Beauty, played a key role in growing Anastasia Beverly Hills into a billion-dollar brow empire, and guided emerging and established brands to cult status worldwide. But what truly sets Thomas apart is his refreshing, honest, results driven approach. After decades watching the industry overwhelm consumers with complicated routines, unnecessary products, and marketing confusion, he decided it was time for a radical shift. That shift became Skin at Work, a brand built on the belief that skincare should be simple, effective, and grounded in science, not in hype. Today, Thomas is known for cutting through the noise with myth-busting truths, straightforward advice, and deep commitment to helping people outsmart the beauty industry. He's here to help you skip the clutter, understand what really works, and spend less time on your skincare routine and more time living your beautiful life. So settle in because this conversation is about to change the way you think about your skin, your products, and your daily routine. Thomas, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm so excited about our conversation.
I am too. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I love your show.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much. You began in the beauty industry more than 30 years ago, shaping some of the biggest names in skincare. What originally drew you into that world?
I always love to say that I didn't find skincare. Skincare found me.
Okay.
I stumbled into that. My mom likes to say that I started as a cosmetic stock boy, which is true. I was literally putting away perfumes and serums and moisturizers while I was going to college at Saks Fifth Avenue in Denver. When I didn't mess that up, they said, okay, do you want to go to the executive training program in New York City? Which, of course, what little country come to town kid doesn't want to do that, right? So yeah, I said yes, and I made $26,000 a year in New York City and paid for my groceries on a credit card and just really enjoyed going through that training program. And when the training program is done, they place you wherever they think is where you will do the best good in the store. They rotate you around for 6 months. It was a very comprehensive thing. They don't do training programs like that anymore. And they said, okay, you're going to be in cosmetics. And that is how I got here. But I really did develop a love for it over time. And it's one of those, if you think about just Saks Fifth Avenue as an example, right? If you think about the one department in the building probably that leads to the greatest amount of self-confidence and just really impacts people's lives, I think it's really skincare.
Yes. Absolutely. And it's very impressive when you walk into the ground floor and you see all of these counters and all these beautiful women and men behind the counters selling skincare and perfumes and colognes. Yes, it's beautiful. So you had a front row seat to the evolution of beauty, right? From Saks to Sephora to global brand strategy. What major shifts have you witnessed in the industry over the decades?
There have been so many. One you just mentioned, which is Sephora, which really did democratize how we take in information, how we sell products, and that concept in the beginning was to have a very level playing field for all of the brands so that consumers could experience something on its own merit, not necessarily with the influence of millions and millions of dollars of advertising. So I think that was a big, huge shift for sure. And I think probably the biggest one after that is either going to be social media, which really changed the game for everyone. And then probably social media beget the fact that there's been this massive proliferation of brands over the last maybe decade, right? Where there's so much choice and so much noise that it's really almost hard to decipher through and go through the clutter to make sure that you're getting exactly what your skin needs at the right time. I think it's been a very interesting journey, in particular, social media, the rise of the influencer, and all of those people who really wanted to get as much attention from the brands as possible. So they would put as many products on their face as they possibly could. And the whole point of that was to sell more stuff. But in the end, it's almost like we've come full circle now. What people are actually doing is going back to authority. They're going back to their dermatologist. They're going back to the counter because they've been inundated with so much stuff and like almost like G forces on their face, so many products that they really need to bring it back down again and figure out from an expert what is right for them.
Yeah, I was recently in Sephora and I was walking around, and so many brands that I never heard of before are in there, and it is overwhelming. What do most consumers not realize about how products are created, marketed, and sold?
I guess probably the number one little secret
That
is
we're letting out today.
is probably that I'm going to make a broad sweeping generalization, right? But typically more money goes into the packaging than goes into the goop. And in the industry, we call the juice that's inside the goop. And that is because people need curb appeal. They want to make sure that you feel aspirational about their product. But by and large, if you have a $380 cream, like there's a very famous $380 cream out there, I guarantee you that probably 3 times as much is going into the packaging as the actual goop itself. And that's what we've endeavored to change here at Skin at Work, only because I know the formulas. And of course, there are countless important jobs that go into the making of a product, the marketing of a product. And so I'm not here to say that not all of those things are super important and that we don't want to lose jobs, of course. But what we do want to do is give the power back to the consumer with regard to what he or she is actually putting on their face. And so we make our packaging just pretty enough so that you're not like embarrassed to have it on your counter. But really the point is we want to take the majority of that money that goes into pretty packaging and we want to put it into the goop so that wouldn't you want to pay for the goop?
Yes.
The glass in the package or in the plastic rather. So that's our mantra and our philosophy.
Yes. If you had to eliminate 80% of what's on the average bathroom shelf, what would you remove first and why?
Oh, wow. So I would say probably number one would be a toner. So back in the day, back when I started in cosmetics, a lot of the formulas were not pH balanced. And so you needed a toner to balance your skin first. And of course, toners do have a lot of other functions. I don't want to knock every single toner out there, but by and large, the primary function of a toner is to balance your pH. And really, unless you are putting a lot of acids on your face or very aggressive products, you shouldn't necessarily need that now because almost everything is pH balanced. Number two is, and I know this is provocative, is I don't think you need an eye cream if you are using high enough powered skincare, or unless if you really love the ceremony of putting all the steps on, I say more power to you, right? But I don't think you're getting incremental benefit from an eye cream if your skincare is as powerful as ours is, or if you're using somebody else's skincare that's super powerful. And there's a couple of reasons for that. The first is most regimens tell you to put the eye cream on last. And so if you are a person who has a very complicated routine, by that time you've put on a serum, if you've done toner, serum, moisturizer, a lot of these different things, you basically built up layers of efficacy on your face. And so the last thing that you put on your skin will be likely the least efficacious thing that you put on your skin, because it has to push through all of these other things. And depending on how thick they were, and depending on how many garbage fillers are in those products just to make it feel nice, not necessarily efficacious things, it's likely that the penetration level of the eye cream is very little. So I don't believe that they provide enough incremental value for you to waste your money on it. I would rather you go and look for a serum or a serum moisturizer combo that is very transparent about what they put in it from a percentage perspective, so that you know that you're getting exactly what you're paying for.
Yes.
And $90 for an eye cream, $120 for an eye cream, whatever it is, I don't personally buy it.
So for women in midlife and beyond, what are the actual essentials that they need in their routine?
So I feel like that question is a setup for my brand.
Perhaps.
So I appreciate that, but I think you need a good all-purpose cleanser, and and our philosophy on that is that I personally have no patience or time to do a lot of weekly treatments and exfoliators. Like, I always have the best intentions for a self-care Sunday, but I never get around to it because I'm just too darn busy. And then I get to Monday and I go, oh, rats, I didn't exfoliate this week. So we created a cleanser that covers that full gamut for you, that's gentle enough on the daily so that you can still get your exfoliation and all the detox that you need, but you can also use it to take off your makeup. So you need a good cleanser. That cleanser should be a treatment cleanser, in my opinion, which is what ours is.
What do you mean by a treatment cleanser?
So ours does multiple things, and it just depends on how long you leave it on. So what I recommend is that 6 days a week, you use it like a regular cleanser. You take off your makeup, you take off the day, your SPF, etc. But once a week, you leave it on for about 5 minutes. And because the surfactants or the cleansers in it are so gentle, it's not going to dry you out to do that. But it has gentle PHA exfoliators in there, polyhydroxy acids. It has vitamin C in there, which will give you some brightening. It also has niacinamide, which will diminish the appearance of your pores as a treatment. And it has this huge amount of Canadian glacial minerals in it, which will clean the debris from your pores for the week. And then the last thing it has is it has these two types of flowers, which are great for detoxification and get rid of dullness. So it's literally like having 6 treatments in one. And just for that one day, which is actually the time I can afford on the Sunday, is leave it on for 5 minutes, wash the rest of your bits, and then like you literally have done all of the work for all those products.
Wow, I love that. So, as you sent me the products, and I've been using them and I love them. And I have to tell you honestly, Thomas, I love the fact that it's simple because when I was younger, I would go to the department store to a cosmetic counter and I would be sold a cleanser, a serum, a toner, an eye cream, a night cream, a day cream, and spend hundreds of dollars that I couldn't even afford at that time because I was in my 20s. And I feel like yours is so simple. There's the cleanser. In the daytime, you have the daytime moisturizer, and in the evening, you have the evening one. 1, 2, 3, you're done. And I love it on my skin. I love
Great.
it.
That's great. I'm so happy to hear that. It's the textures are concentrated, so that's something that people do have to get used to, I think, because they're sometimes like you're into Korean brands, like it's not going to have that watery break to it. Why? Because it's packed with so many things. It's like when you think about making a cake, right? If there's so many goodies in it or soup or whatever, it gets denser and denser. And that's our textures are definitely on the rich side. But what I do tell customers is you can also make the texture a little bit like a chameleon. You can add a few drops of water to it, which by the way will make the product go further and save you even more money. But you can, because they start out thick, you can modify the texture to go a little bit thinner if you so desire. And oftentimes our customers will say in the summer, oh, you know what? I dilute it in the summer because I just want a little bit of a lighter texture on it. But what you're saying is exactly what we're about. And it really is mostly because I'm the laziest. It's shocking for as many. I've been fortunate to develop or design some of the most famous formulas out there. And it's shocking how few of them I actually use because I'm lazy and or busy, lazy/busy. So that's the reason why I designed this was for you and for me and for people who just want simplicity in their life. And they also want to know that we have tested all of these different things together to be gentle on your skin. For instance, like you mentioned Sephora, you go into Sephora and if you don't know what you're doing, you buy a bunch of things and what are you going to do? You're going to play skin scientist on your face for the next whatever 30 days, right? And you're going to have, again, I'm not knocking Sephora, but let's say you chose 5 products out there. And so you're going to try all 5 of them. Now and your skin blows up. You're not going to know which of the 5 blew
Right.
your skin up. Now you're gonna have to do process of elimination to figure out what it is. And this can take years for you to get to the right combination of things that will work for you. And I'm not saying Skin at Work will work for 100% of the people out there, but for normal, dry, combination skins, it will work. And you don't have to do any of that because we've done it all for you. We've tested it clinically to make sure it doesn't blow people's faces up. Really, like it's relatively foolproof, I should say.
Yeah, I wanted to go back because you said that there's thicker in consistency. What I've been doing is I leave my skin damp and put the cream on, and I feel like it gets absorbed with the moisture on my skin. Seems to work for me.
Love it. Yeah, that's one way. That's exactly the way I do it too. Like I pat dry a little bit. I don't
Yes,
go all dry, and then then I work it
right.
in.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
what should women pay attention to when reading a skincare label, and what can they ignore?
I think the first thing that you should do is look at the ingredient deck, which by law must be listed on every single product. Sometimes you need a magnifying glass.
Yes.
So I will pull out my phone and turn the camera on and read the ingredient label. And the important thing to know about that is that the first 5 to 10 products on the ingredient label are the most important ones because by law, people are required to list them in descending order of amount in there, just almost like you would a recipe. If you don't see something that you can pronounce that sounds natural, of course, it's like a very broad generalization. In those 5 to 10 top ingredients, and if you really want to take the time and you want to turn the package around and look at the marketing, then you also want to make sure that some of those 5 to 10 are actually what they're marketing to you, right? To say, oh, this is what you're getting.
Yeah.
So that's important. If you see a lot of chemical names in those first 5 to 10,
Yes.
then you will probably assume that there are a lot of what I call fillers. And when I say fillers, what I mean is things that make it aesthetically pleasing to you to apply, but may not necessarily be doing anything good for your skin. And of course, there are exceptions to this rule, but I think that's just a good place. That's a good starting place for you to do. I also think that if somebody is telling you that their product firms or tightens with this ingredient, it's important for you to know how much of that ingredient is really in there. Or is it stuck at the bottom of the ingredient declaration? And what we crafty marketers call when we do that is we say, oh, that's a deck claim, meaning it's on the ingredient deck, but it's not doing anything necessarily. We're just saying, oh, with peptides. When people say with peptides, that means somebody has sprinkled some peptides in there, but they're probably not doing anything for you. So what you would look for is, clinically proven to increase firmness by X% with peptides. That's what you're looking for, because that means that it's just not some piggly amount in there.
So what makes Skin at Work different from the typical crowded beauty brands?
I'd say the first thing we mentioned, which is just simplicity, right?
Yes.
Simplicity, speed, and ease.
Yes.
I want you to get out of your bathroom and into your life as
Yes.
possible. That's what I want for me too. Just the lack of confusion, I think, is huge for us.
Yes. I
I
love that.
I always tell people, people say, what's your party trick? And I would say my party trick is that when everybody finds out I work in skincare, like it's the only thing anybody wants to talk about. So I always like design a regimen for them. But I did that for so many years, and then they would always text me and call me like 2 weeks later and say, oh, I saw this. Can I put that into here? Or I forgot what you told me about this and blah, blah, blah. And after a while, I was like, there's got to be a better way. So that's why the simplicity, lack of confusion, and really, I would say the other pillar is to be efficacious, as efficacious as possible. And for many years when I was working for a lot of bigger corporations, I would try to do these really big hypertasking SKUs. And when we get to the final review, always the CFO would be like, who approved that cost? That's way too expensive. Well, we just can't do that. And that always gave me dissonance. I was like, you know what? If I ever do this again, I'm going to give customers exactly what they need to have the best skin possible. So that's the other pillar.
Yeah, I love that. What's your philosophy on aging gracefully versus anti-aging promises?
That's such a good question. I think you're going to see a shift with regard to longevity going forward. And I think that's going to be obviously a big buzzword as we continue to age, because aging is so multifaceted now. And I think while we do show before and afters of our product, it's not meant to make anyone feel bad. It's just meant to say, hey, you can look your best if you have these types of conditions, and this is how we will solve them. But I think really it's what you stand for with regard to your podcast, which is all of the aging from the inside out, right?
Yeah.
Which is, and I know people when I tell people this, they're always like, oh, that's like such an obvious, like that's Captain Obvious. And I'm like, yeah, it is Captain Obvious. It's all the basic things, what you put in your body shows on what your body looks like on the outside. So it can't be garbage in, amazing out. It's going to be garbage in, garbage out, as they like to say. You've got to make sure that you are reducing stress, which is something that Dr. Murad always told me. He would say to me, Thomas, you can put a cream on your face. He's like, if you are super stressed, it's not going to do that much good. So really, it's this holistic look to me about longevity and what that looks like, and making sure that our hormones are balanced. And there's a ton of podcasts out there, and I'm sure yours have many topics as well that can cover that.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I think the products are great. I've been using them for over a month, I want to say, and I use them day and night, and I love them. And I do see, not that I'm proud of it, I'm actually embarrassed, but I smoked cigarettes for many years. I quit 33 years ago, but the damage around my mouth, I believe, is from cigarette smoking, always like that. And the lines do look less intense than they used to.
Ah, that's great.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. I was never a smoker myself, but I have to tell you, if I had a drink in my hand now, I miss the smell of smoke.
You don't see too many people smoking any longer.
Unless you go to Europe, and then I'm always shocked.
Yes.
Oh, wow, there's people smoking here.
Yes, absolutely.
Were you a Studio 54 gal in New York City?
I've been there several times. Yes, I was there.
My girlfriend, who for 20 years she was my best friend, she would tell me of all the New York stories, and they were what a time, right?
Yes. I'd love to go back to those times just for a couple of days.
Just for a visit, just for a visit. That's it.
Absolutely. Thomas, anything you'd like to leave my audience with? And also where we could find your products?
Sure, yes. So we are sold on Amazon.com, as well as our own website, which is skinatwork.com. On Skin at Work, we sell, like, for instance, I sent you all 3 products. So we bundle those up and give you a discount, versus with Amazon, you just buy them straight up. It just depends on what people like. If you want it right now and you also want the ease of returning, then Amazon is probably the place to go. Otherwise, you'll get a better value with us. I would just say, if I was to leave the audience with anything, is just really buyer beware. Just make sure, I know that skincare is it's fun, right? People love the ceremony and the ritual of skincare, but just pay attention to what crafty marketers, what they're saying, and try to really weed through and look at the actual facts of your product. How much of something is in there? Is it doing a good job for you? What are you really paying for? Are you paying for a multi-million-dollar campaign? Or are you actually paying for results on your skin? I think that's the key.
Excellent. Thank you. You're not in any department stores. Do you see yourself ever being in a department store with this brand?
Probably eventually, but it's just so much work and so much money. So I would say for us, we're going to build up our brand online first.
Yeah.
Which I know people are saying is not in vogue anymore. But the thing is, you can really control the message when you're your own person. And what I find is, oftentimes when you go into retailers, you'll get put into the best practice bucket, right? So you'll go into these meetings and they'll say, I was doing this and it's working really well. And I was doing this, that seems to be working well. And then pretty soon all the brands just sound the same and they look the same. And so we're trying to avoid that as long as we can.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Well, I wish you the best of luck, because I think the brand is excellent. I love it. And I will definitely buy it when I run out. And the other thing I do want to say is that a little goes a long way. Like, I have it over a month and a half, probably 2 months. And I really haven't made a dent in either one of them. So just a little really goes a long way, especially if you leave your skin a little moist and then put it on. It covers beautifully.
Your skin looks great. I'm sure you've done all of the right things over the years. You look terrific, but I'm happy to hear that you're loving the products. That's why we get up every day and throw the covers off. So we want you.
Thank you, Thomas. I love it. You were a great guest, and I love your energy, and I wish you the best of luck with everything.
Thank you for your kindness. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for joining us for this eye-opening conversation with Thomas Smith. I hope you're walking away feeling clearer, more confident, and ready to simplify your skincare routine in a way that truly supports your well-being. Thomas has given us something so many women have been craving: straight talk, real education, and permission to let go of the overwhelm. His message is a powerful reminder that skincare doesn't have to be complicated, expensive, or filled with endless steps. What matters is choosing products that work, understanding what your skin actually needs, and remembering that age is beautiful and a natural part of our journey. If you want to learn more about Thomas or explore his mission behind Skin at Work, be sure to check out the links in the show notes. As always, thank you for tuning in to the Susan Lopresti Wellness Mind, Body, and Soul podcast. If this episode inspired you, please share it with a friend, leave a review, or subscribe so you never miss a moment of wisdom and wellness. Until the next time, take good care of yourself, your mind, your body, and your soul. And remember, simplicity is powerful, and you deserve to feel radiant at every age.